Hello everybody and welcome to Favorite Rugby on Favorite Sport for today's World Rankings review. Lots and lots of change on the World Rankings. I mean, it's actually mental when you look at how these World Rankings are going to look like going into the World Cup. Very, very interesting times. England have fallen as low as 8th. Australia down to 9th. South Africa have gone up ahead of New Zealand as well as we go into the World Cup in just over, a little under 2 weeks. The world rankings have changed a lot of different climbers and fallers across the board, and a very interesting weekend with regards to sort of not necessarily the underdogs, but just in terms of performances and teams that we keep waiting to sort of see something come from, and we're just not quite seeing it yet. So before we look at the rankings and sort of look at who's gone where and what's happened, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. These are the rankings, and there were only three teams rather, that did not move, and they occupy 1st, 5th, and 10th. So right at the top, right at the bottom of the top 10, and smack bang in the middle. There was no movement there. However, in between, there was some movement. So South Africa have moved into 2nd place. They overtook France 2 weeks ago. Now they've overtaken New Zealand, and they move into 91.08 points. And France, however, have also moved up, got ahead of New Zealand. France got into 3rd position, where they were down to 4th after their win against Australia. New Zealand have dropped down 2 positions from 2nd down to 4th. Ireland still occupying the number 1 spot over there, and a reasonable buffer there. All poses, I think it's almost as close between South Africa and Ireland as it is to South Africa and France. Scotland have remained where they are, but Argentina have climbed, and Fiji have climbed to 7th. You would have thought that we would be talking about Fiji as the 7th best team in the world, inverted commas, as regards to the world rankings. England down to 8th, Australia down to 9th, and Wales down to 10th. I mean, when you think of England were the World Cup finalists 4 years ago, they're not going to be going to the following World Cup in 8th, ranked 8th. The Boks going ranked 2nd. I'm quite happy with that. I think we all kind of know that the top 5 is pretty accurate. You know, I think the top 4 there's quite a lot of distance between them and the other teams. You know, Scotland and Argentina, you know, if they rock up on the day, they can definitely upset them, but it would be an upset. Whereas I don't think that a result between any of the top 4 would necessarily be an upset. You know, if South Africa beat France, I don't think it's an upset. If New Zealand beats South Africa, New Zealand beats Ireland, I don't think it's an upset. I think the top 4 sides, I think, are pretty close at the moment. And I think that, you know, it's a bit of a flip of the coin. I think it comes down to like your, you know, home ground advantage, for example, and a couple of injuries, you know, could be the difference. I think that the teams are that close. So that's what we're going into the World Cup. Now, as I said, the annoying thing is all 5 of those sides are on one side of the draw within 2 pools. And so, you know, we will be losing a few of them on the road to the final, which is why everybody keeps talking about the fact that England and Australia and even Wales to a certain degree could sort of find their way, and Argentina could find their way to a World Cup semi-final, for example, without having to be phenomenal because they're on the right side of the draw. However, a team like Fiji are suddenly making things a bit interesting because they've become a lot more competitive and have definitely shown that they can be a top side in terms of their discipline and not just sort of blow hot and cold like the traditional flying Fijians did. You know, they are far more consistent, and discipline, I think, is the big thing. They're now, and at the end of the day, you know, it's if you want to be treated like one of the big boys, you've got to act like one of the big boys. And I think that this last few weeks, where we've seen a very disciplined Fijian side go the distance with France and not look out of sorts, go and beat England in Twickenham. They're a Fijian side, which I think their belief will be growing. But so I think it's probably a little bit like the Drua, for example. I think it's definitely helped them a lot. And hopefully this is going to be, you know, the start of Fiji becoming a really powerful nation. And you never know, maybe, you know, just to talk about South going to the Six Nations, but maybe you're going to see a Fiji joining the Rugby Championship, a Japan joining the Rugby Championship, when we can be moving towards a 6-game or 6-team tournament where you play everybody once. You play 5 games instead of playing the 6 that we currently do. So who knows? Maybe that could be on the cards sooner, especially if Fiji's going to be competitive, because then it's still a pretty good standard of rugby for the rest, although we wouldn't need Australia just kind of pick up their socks a little bit if we wanted to do that pretty competitively as well. But let me know what you think about the rankings. As I said, obviously, you know, we will know who the best team in the world is in 2 months, because they'll be the ones lifting the Webb Ellis Trophy. But until then, this is the barometer, and these are how the teams are going into the World Cup. And obviously there will be movement during the World Cup, but yeah, this is how it sort of stands. Do you think it's a fair reflection? Who do you think are ranked too high or too low compared to where they maybe actually are, where you feel they are? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash the like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon.